What's good, guys? This is Vahagraphy. I'm Vahagan, your rock and roll photographer. In this video, I am going to talk about my thoughts of the Vahagraphy Talk number 10 episode, special guest, Jared Polin. Now, before I get into it, if this is your first time on this channel, Vahagraphy, we do Vahagraphy Talks here. We talk to the photography community. We do lens reviews, camera reviews. We have a lot of fun here. So if this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, like, and hit the bell notification. You'll be notified when I upload new videos. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and talk and give you my thoughts on the podcast we had a few days ago with Jared Polin. First of all, I want to thank Jared for coming on. You were great. We had a great time with you, picking your brain, asking you questions. Also, Ike and Frames, special thanks to you guys for contributing to the talk, asking questions. By the way, guys, if you want to check out that Vahagraphy Talk podcast, I'll put the link in the description below and also click the link above. So the response I got from the podcast, I thought I'd make a video on that because we got a lot of comments, a lot of response, a lot of, constructive criticism. I'd say 90% of the comments were positive towards the talk. People really enjoyed them, the viewers, and just a small percentage of you had a few issues with them, either with Jared, his personality or the way he was, or had issues with us. What I got from Jared, and this is my first time even talking with him, what I got from him is that he's very straightforward. Whether you like him or hate him, that's just the way he is. Now, I don't know him personally in that level. You'd have to kind of talk to Steven, because I think he probably spends the most time with Jared. And if you were to get an accurate assessment of how it is working with Jared, you would have to ask Steven. And again, I haven't spent time with Jared, so I can't really tell you what type of guy he is on a personal level. My mindset on Jared changed from that podcast. I'll be honest with you. I was very surprised, and I'm not the only one. Judging from the comments, we had a lot of guys say that, you know what, after this talk, I think of Jared in a different way, in a positive light. Now, Jared, I would love to get your take on the talk. If you had a good time, if you thought the talk was, productive. So that being said, I think the talk was very successful. A big percentage of you loved it, and a very small percentage of you really had issues with either Jared or us. And it was interesting because the people that commented that had issues with us, that's me, Ike, and Frames, had different things to say about us. Some of you guys had issues with Ike, thought that he was, guns blazing. Some of you guys thought Frames' questions were ridiculous. And some of you guys thought that I was talking about myself and how that was inappropriate. See, where I come from, when you talk to somebody for the first time, it's nice to just say, hey, you know what? This is who I am. This is what I'm about. Kind of like introduce yourself. I think it would have been awkward if I didn't get a chance to kind of do that. And I'm really glad I did, because like I said, where I come from, it's nice to say, hey, you know what? By the way, this is who I am. This is my, story. I've been a photographer, blah, blah, blah. Now I have this channel. A couple of you guys took offense to that and thought, why is he saying these things? And I thought it was, I'm really glad I did. Honestly, I'm really glad I did. And because, Jared, we've never spoken to Jared. This is the first time actually interacting with the guy. So why not? This is who I am. So whether he liked that or not, it doesn't really matter to me, because that's just the way I am. That's just the way I'm programmed. You could be talking to a total stranger. I think you have to kind of introduce yourself. I would have liked for Ike and Frames to do that as well, but they didn't get a chance to. It's fine. So for the most part, the comments, the viewers actually loved it. They thought it was really nice. The Z9 came out that day. The launch was out. And we kind of, asked Jared questions about the Z9. And then we went off on our little, topics and the conversations. Some of the guys wanted to address some questions and concerns they had with Jared's previous reviews, and they did that successfully. So I thought it was important to ask them a variety of questions. Now, it wasn't only me that was asking questions. We kind of had to share the floor with two other guys. Given that this was my first time with Jared, we wanted to make it as productive as possible. Now, some of you guys didn't appreciate the questions, thought that we came off a little bit too, with guns blazing. We attacked Jared. I don't see it in that way. I think that the questions were fair. I think the responses were great from Jared. And I didn't see it in a hostile light like some of you guys saw it. And there was a very small percentage of you guys that had issues with it. And like I said again, it was mostly positive. And there was a lot of changed minds out there about Jared. They respect Jared more after watching the show. And of course, these are four professionals getting together and talking gear. Of course, there's going to be disagreements. A relatively new YouTuber as I am, to have Jared Polin on my show was an honor, and it was great, and it was an opportunity that I had to take. Watching him for 11 years, it was awesome. I would be lying if I told you that I didn't have a great time and if I thought this was not beneficial for us. I'm very happy the way the talk turned out and the results and the productivity we got from the 1 hour interview. There was a comment I received that it caught my attention. And one of you guys said, why are you defending Jared's actions? He was a total asshole to you guys. And, why are you defending him in the comments? He totally blew you guys off. He really didn't want to be there. And it showed from his actions. Look, guys, the guy's been around for 11 years, okay, on YouTube. Of course, he has a big following, over 1 million, almost 1.5 million followers. His stature in the YouTube community is a lot bigger than all three of us combined, right? And again, I praise him for coming and sitting down with us and talking to us. You have to give him credit. Part of it, I think, has to do with his the way he is, his personality. I think he's like that with everybody. And part of it, of course, has to do with where he's at on YouTube. Different situation, though. If we were doing a job together, right? No YouTube here, just a job. 2 photographers, me and someone else. A guy like Jared comes in with that type of attitude and his personality, I would send him home right away. There is an episode on The Sopranos, Pine Barrens. I'm a big fan of Sopranos. Love that show. Pine Barrens, the episode where Christopher and Paulie Walnuts are sitting in a van, stuck in the middle of nowhere in the forest, freezing their ass off. And they get into an argument, and Paulie goes, "You know what? Don't make me pull a rank on you, kid." And Christopher looks at him and says, "You know what? Right now we're just two schmucks, two assholes stuck in the middle of nowhere. So I really don't give a shit." That made perfect sense. And so if somebody came and if we were doing a job together, I really wouldn't care his reputation on YouTube, this and that. If he acted the way he did, if his personality was the same way, I say, you know what? We're just 2 photographers right now trying to work a job, and I can't work with a guy like you. You're going to diss me left and right, and you're going to be holier than thou, know-it-all attitude with me. I'd send you home right away. Because, again, the way I am is I like to greet people. Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. Where you from? That I'm just brought up that way. When I see somebody not being the same way, I don't know if you noticed, like when we started the chat, hey, normally if I'm joined in a community and I kind of don't know the guys, I would introduce myself. Like I said, I say, hey, how you guys doing? Thank you for having me on. So there was none of that. No thanks, no this and that. But I don't really care because I had the job done. Now, I really couldn't ask him why he was like that because it would probably jeopardize the show, and it wouldn't have been fair for my other guests that spent time out of their busy schedules to be there. So I kind of had to, hold myself back at times and let people speak. It's easy to say things, you should have done this, why are you doing that? It's like, it's easy to do when you're commenting, but when you're at that situation right there, you kind of have to take a back seat to other people sometimes. And as a host of that channel, I had to take a back seat a lot of times. I had to let the guys talk, especially Jared. I had to let them talk, and no matter how he portrayed himself, which I think he just didn't do it on purpose. I just think that that's just the way he is. In that situation, it's fine. His personality, fine. We're there to interview him and get his thoughts on the Z9, ask him questions about his videos. And yes, I am doing YouTube. And yes, I am going to ask him about YouTube questions. Of course I am. I'm talking to a guy that's like very successful on YouTube, probably the biggest photographers that has a YouTube channel. You know, one of the biggest in the gambling world. You'd call him a whale. The guy's a whale, you know, in this community. And to have this type of guy sitting in my show, of course I'm going to ask him YouTube questions. I know some of you guys, why are you asking him YouTube questions? This is about the Z9, this and that. I really wanted to ask him his opinion on the Z9, but I also wanted to ask him about his business, obviously. But I think we did a good job. I think each one of us got off questions. I think each one of us did a good job at responding, and I think Jared also did a good job. I think this podcast was a big success, and 2 thumbs up, guys. And again, you can't please everybody. You can't please everybody, but for the most part, it was positive. For the most part, you guys really enjoyed it. Again, I find it funny that the ones that were negative towards us, some people had bad things to say about me. Some people had bad things to say about Ike, and some people had bad things to say about frames. So it just goes to show you how diverse the viewers are. You know, not everybody's going to register things the same way. And I want to thank you guys for commenting. I want to thank you guys for sharing your thoughts. This is a community. I think we should stay positive as a community together. And we just grow stronger from there, you know. I always say, you know, positive vibes all around. You know, I like positive vibes, and not everybody's going to have the same personality. I had different thoughts come into my mind when reading these comments over the weekend, and I thought I'd address them. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that talk. It's not the last, and Jared, hopefully you'll come back for another round, and in the future, I think it'd be much more relaxed. You already know of us. Maybe we'll mix and match the guests. We'll bring on different guests and see where it goes from there. There is one comment that I will read, because I think this comment, and I'm not going to mention who wrote this comment, only because they deleted it. So I'm going to go ahead and read it, and I thought this comment was amazing. I don't know why he or she deleted it, but I'm going to go ahead and read it because it just hit the nail right on the head. Anonymous viewer. I have known some real rich people in various forms of the word rich. Rich in knowledge, rich with power, rich with money, rich with life experience, and rich in heart. This was a rich video for the insight of 4 very diverse personalities, all having a burning passion pursuing the capture of digital memories. I consider you all rich in your own rights. This was a real treat, as I have been watching Jared for years and appreciate the struggles he has gone through to get to where he's at. This video is a milestone and a win despite anyone's comments. The dichotomy of a guy with no hair interviewing a guy with a flock of hair is the least of contrast in this video. What I think all 4 of you will agree on is that pushing the shutter button is what makes us happy. This video did just that. It was a lightning bolt moment. Jared Polin, thank you for taking the time to be the subject here. Balls, man. And Vahagan, keep those sticks hot and rocking. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for that comment. And I thought I would highlight that comment, and I thought it was a very strong, sincere comment, and I loved it. So thank you guys for watching. I just will leave you with that. More talks on the way on Vahagraphy Talk. I really enjoy doing them. Got some people lined up for the future, so stick around to that. Again, like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit the bell icon. You'll be notified when those talks, lens reviews, camera reviews, business tips, everything. We do it all here, and I enjoy bringing you that content. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. And by the way, the GVM slider doing its thing. Thank you, GVM. That thing rocks. I love it. This is Vahagraphy. I'm Vahagen, your rock and roll photographer. And guys, thank you again. I appreciate it very much. We'll see you on a future video. Rock and roll. But I didn't like the way I said rock and roll at the end there. We'll see you on the future video. Rock and roll.